This is Squirrel. Welcome to my build series. Today we're going to assemble a Pilot RC 67-inch extra NG. Now the first step you need to do on this particular build is you have to hinge everything. Now the way I like to hinge, the first step I take when I am hinging any control surfaces and I have these little bullet style hinges is I just take some chapstick and I put a little bit of chapstick right over this nut right here, so when I glue the hinge it will not get locked up. My go-to for glue is this QT Plux epoxy. It dries in 5 minutes. You can get it right from Harriet Hillside Aviation. Goes on with this gun applicator. It's very easy to use. A couple squirts right in the hole. Insert your hinge. Walk away. Good to go. With the glue drying on the hinges, now is the perfect time to assemble the landing gear. There are pre-drilled holes in the landing gear for the axle and for the wheel pants, and I went ahead and installed those already. Here you can see the completed assembly. All that's left to do is bolt it onto the fuselage. The next step, I'm going to install all the control arms on the control surfaces. Now the first thing you need to do is you need to sand a little bit on the bottom of this before you glue it into the surface to give the glue something to stick to. The next steps I'm going to make are going to be a couple things all at once with the same batch of glue. I am going to glue these triangle supports right in here on the back side of the motor box. Notice I stiffened up the motor box because I'm going to use a very high performance engine and I don't want anything coming loose. I'm also going to glue and hinge the rudder and mount the horizontal stabilizer. We'll be right back. Next, we're going to mount the motor. Mounting the motor is very, very simple. There are already blind nuts in the firewall and the perfect position for the motor mounting bolts, and all you do is use a couple of the included wood shims to achieve the perfect distance from this to the back of the firewall so it clears in front of the spinner. Next, we're going to install the cowl. You're going to need to drill 2 small holes for the mounting bolts, and the easiest way to do that is I get a little piece of blue tape and I find where it's going to be, and I put one little dot right here and right there. And then what I'll do is I will fold the tape back, slide the cowl on, push the tape back over, and I'll know exactly where to drill the hole. The next thing we'll do is mount the aileron servos in the wings. The first thing you want to do is prepare the push rod and mount it to the control arm on the servo. The second step is you want to get a drill with a very small drill bit and drill 4 mounting holes. These pilot holes will make it very easy for the self-tapping wood screws to go in through the top of the servo into the wing. You want to adjust the push rod so that the servo arm is very close to perpendicular, as close as you can get it to the servo, and the aileron being right in the middle. This will ensure correct geometry and an axial roll rate. Now that the wings are completed, it's time to move on and finish the tail section. Repeat the same process with the servos, preparing the push rods, and drill the pilot holes and mount the servos, and set the arms to dead center, and center your control surfaces. And always remember, it's very important to use Loctite on every single metal-to-metal connection. Now, while I was installing those servos, it took me just 1 second to drill 2 little pilot holes and install the tail wheel. Make note, it comes with an extra ball link and a little spot in the bottom of the rudder for you to super glue the ball link in, and that will act as the steering mechanism for the tail wheel. So when the rudder turns, the wheel also turns. Time to finish this NG build off. Got the servo extensions for the elevator and rudder coming down through the fuselage. Got a little piece of Velcro installed right here to keep the servo wires from rattling around too much. I use this glue I get from the auto parts store, and I used it right here where the servo extensions are going into the receiver. I just take a little job on my finger, and I just a little tiny bit right there, and that'll keep them from coming loose in flight. The battery is going to go in here somewhere. As you can see, The balance point is right here, right above the wing tube. The only thing left to do is charge my batteries and program the radio. I set my control throws to 38 degrees up and 37 degrees down on my ailerons and around 50% expo. For the elevators, I want 55 degrees up and down, and I just about max the rudder out. Hopefully all these tips made your build go super smooth. I hope you guys have as much fun as I do. Jamie out.